Welcome to part 3 of this Can Indonesia Win the World Cup Football Manager 2015 experiment. Thank you for all the support so far on this series and on the San Marino one as well. It's been marvellous. Please check out part 1 and 2 at first if you have no idea what this is all about, so you know what's going on. So thanks for all the comments on the recent videos and the likes. But from your comments I've gathered that you guys believe the biggest problem holding Indonesia back from winning the World Cup is the manager, because he's pretty awful. Now I'm going to give him another few years, and if he doesn't improve, then I will improve those attributes and see if that has an impact and see if Indonesia can win the World Cup with a better manager. So we're in the year 2039 at the moment, and as you can see they're 12th in the world. Recently they've been up as high as 6th, and I think I checked before but they were 4th at one point. Can't actually see, but I'm pretty sure in 2036 they were up to 4th, which is amazing. They've won so many things already. Looking at this, they've been runners-up in the Confederations Cup, so that's something to look at. Argentina won that one against them in the final, but still, that's pretty impressive. Here we go, 3-1 in the final. Can't see the game, but this guy scored. Let's have a look at him. Mahadi, 26 goals in 29 games for Indonesia. Looks like a really good player, but they've just got so much strength and depth. We know how amazing they are. I think the main thing you're probably interested in is how did they do at the last World Cup. So let's have a look. France won the 2038 World Cup. Let's go back in time and see how they got on in their group and that sort of thing. Let's go back to the 2038 World Cup and then look at everything. So, France and USA qualified, Germany, Holland, Nigeria, Turkey, Colombia, Iran, England, Serbia, Brazil, Czech Republic, Argentina, Russia. Above Indonesia. They didn't get out of the 2038 World Cup group stage. So that's really disappointing for them. 1-1, drew 1, lost 1. That's disappointing. They haven't made any progress. So yeah, they really need to try and get out of that group next time and hopefully get out the second round, because they've struggled at that stage. I think they got to the quarter-final once, didn't they? So this is the Confederations Cup. If we just go back in time, you can see they beat Nigeria in the semi-final and then lost against Argentina in the final. This is the World Cup group stage. They beat Russia, drew against Cameroon and lost against Argentina again. They've won the Southeast Asian Football Championship the last however many times there. Wow. It's every 2 years, remember, which is why they just win it all the time. It's ridiculous. Thailand. Poor old Thailand. A few of you guys have been feeling sorry for Thailand, actually, saying that they don't deserve this. They're just getting punished every single time they get to the final. And then the Asian Cup, they've been doing quite well. They beat Iran in the last one, 2-1. They've won the last 2 tournaments now. They've won 4 of the last 5. They've been really strong. So let's look at some of the players as it stands at the moment. Riandi, wow, 20 on finishing, composure, off the ball as well. What a strike. 42 goals in 67 games for Indonesia. World-class talent. He's 30 years old. Let's look at his... He's only got 178 current ability, but he does look incredible. 178 is very strong, but it's not as strong as we've seen from previous players. He was at Atlanta for years before moving to AC Milan on a free. Next up is Farid Batubara. Only 24 caps for Indonesia. He's apparently the second best player in Indonesia. There might actually be better players. They sometimes don't show the best ones when we look. This guy does look insane. Defensive midfielder, 66 caps for them. 189 current ability. What a player. Let's look at the team then. I will actually be looking at sort of the Under-20 World Cup and that sort of thing as well at the end of this, just to see if they've managed to win any of them. That's probably a good thing to look at. The most capped player is Riandi, the AC Milan guy. And then Terima for PSG. Looks very good. Tackling. Is that the guy we just looked at? It is, yeah. Getting confused here. Goals-wise, top scorer is Riandi. Value-wise is Terima, the PSG guy. Then it's Erwin Dowley of Man United. Just want to have a look at sort of the ages in this team, because generally it's older players. The youngest is actually 22, Wahyu Ridwan. So I'm guessing he must have a bit of potential to be in the team. 184 potential. He's going to be a good player. 6 goals in 3 games for Indonesia as well. I wonder what happened to Pingo. Someone asked if he was actually... Now, which one is it? It's not that one, is it? No. Here he is. He's 32 now. Managed to get 17 goals in 26 games for Indonesia in the end. And he's been playing in Indonesia his whole career, but he's moving to China soon. Interesting. Well, I wonder if he was born in Indonesia. Nationalities. He's part Brazilian. So he was born in Indonesia. No, he was born in Brazil, sorry. So yeah, someone was asking if he was Brazilian. So we actually are having players from other countries come into the Indonesian league now, because it's a pretty strong league. Look at Arema, 3.5-star reputation. Things have really improved for them. Now I wonder how their facilities have held up, because I improved them right at the start and haven't touched them since. They've still got really good junior coaching and youth recruitment. Training facilities and youth facilities have dropped off slightly, but still very strong. Finances wise, they've still got a sugar daddy, so obviously that he must be sort of redeveloping the training and youth recruitment, that sort of thing, as the years go by. So really interesting that the facilities are staying similar, and the reputation of certain teams are definitely improving. Let's look at who's won it recently. We've seen Gresik United. Don't think we saw them win it before. Just look at the history. That's what's happened over the years. Those of you from Indonesia, you can maybe enjoy this or maybe not enjoy this, depending on who you support. But it's some really interesting stuff going on. He's the top scorer last season. 24-year-old looks pretty good. They've got really good players now that just aren't even getting into the Indonesian national team because there's just so much strength in depth. Just before I go forward a few years, let's see if we can look at... Where am I going? The Under-20 World Cup and that sort of thing. Will it show here? Competitions? Here we go. Asian Under-19 Championship, they've won many a time, as you would expect. The Under-22 Asian Nations Cup, they've won 5 times. So that's good. They've got good youth, but they haven't managed to win any World Cups at youth level. I assume it would show here. We'll have a look. Yeah, here's the World Cup. So this is how they've done so far. Their first ever World Cup was in 1938, actually, and then they never played until 2022. Second round, and then they finished 4th in Group E, lost to Chile in the second round, and lost to Belgium in the quarterfinal, and then back to the group stage 3rd in the World Cup Group G. So, room for improvement. I'm going to holiday a few years, and we'll see how they're getting on, and then if they're still not improving, I will actually improve the manager. Here we go then. They're currently 17th in the world in 2046. Holidayed a few years, and the highest they've been recently is up to 7th, but they have dropped off over the last year or so. So I can say that they haven't actually improved. They haven't won the World Cup or anything. So I have improved the manager for the years ahead. I've made this guy younger as well. I've made him 39 years old. This guy Slamet Nugroho, and I've put him at 20 on everything. 20 current ability, 200 current ability, 200 potential. The only problem is he might actually go somewhere else because he's so good, but hopefully he'll have to spend a few years here and possibly win a World Cup with them. The reason why I've done it now is because the 2046 World Cup is just coming up. It's literally about to start, so it will be interesting to see what he can do in this World Cup. Brazil won the last World Cup, by the way. Let's just have a look at how they got on last time round. 2042 World Cup, we saw Mexico, Portugal, Spain, Holland, France, Poland, Brazil, Belgium, Germany, Argentina, Italy, Russia, England and Indonesia go through their groups with Senegal and Switzerland. Indonesia second, just behind England. But how did they get on in the second round? That's the question we want to know. They lost against Senegal. That is disappointing. Some of the African teams doing very well. I think we saw Mali up in 6th place or something and runners up in the World Cup. Was it something like that? Let's have a quick look. I've forgotten. Was that on the last experiment? Congo, that was it. Congo finished 3rd in 2034. Amazing achievement for them. So well done to them. But we haven't seen Indonesia get through the quarterfinals. They keep stumbling either in the groups or second round. They got to the quarterfinal once and lost against Belgium. So hopefully the improved manager will help them out a bit. I will holiday probably another 10 years or so to see if they can finally win a World Cup. We had predictions from you guys in the last episode as to when they would win the World Cup. Some of you predicted 2042. Someone said 2046. Quite a few people who were saying 2052. So we'll definitely holiday past that point in time. The top player in Indonesia is now playing for Arsenal. Neil Wibowo, 64 caps the centre-back has. He does look very solid indeed. 190 current ability. So we're going to have a look at the World Player of the Year in a minute, to see if any Indonesians have featured on that list in recent years. And Siswoyo, who plays for Real Madrid, 51 goals in 50 games at Indonesia. Remember, they just score so many goals, mainly because they're playing weaker opposition in Asia a lot of the time. Moved to Real Madrid on a free. So recent matches then, over the recent years, let's see how they have managed to get on, and if there's any results that stand out. They lost against Qatar there, that's their only defeat of the year in 2040. You see them winning the Southeast Asian Championship once again there. Confederations Cup, they got through to the semi-final again, lost against Portugal but beat Tunisia 4-0 in the third place playoff, so well done there. They've finished second and third now, haven't they? Then in 2042 they lost in the second round of the World Cup. We've seen that already. Any good results there? Drew against Italy, beat Ukraine, beat Scotland 4-3, lost against Argentina once again, won the Southeast Asian Championship again in 2042, and then 2044 we're seeing a second. They won the Asian Cup final against Australia 2-1 in the final. They've won the last 3 in a row now. Well done to them there. And then 2044 we saw them beat North Korea 7-0 in their World Cup qualifying round. And they did win it's over 2 legs, isn't it? The Southeast Asian Championship. They won the first leg 6-0, maybe put out a weaker team in the second leg possibly. Lost that one 2-1, but they won overall. And then 2045, another decent year. They lost against Argentina and Germany in the Confederations Cup, so they didn't get through that one. Did beat New Zealand 5-2. And then this year so far they've beaten Finland 7-0. Amazing win there. Wow, Siswoyo with 5 goals. What a player. So, let's look at World Player of the Year now, before I forget. Okay, I can't remember the last time we looked. It's quite a while ago, probably 2013. Around then, actually, it was Nori, wasn't it? That's the last time we looked at this. So the year after, they're all regens, finally. 3 Brazilians as well. There's a real player. There's Nori again. But let's see if we can find... there's an Egyptian in there. I want to find an Indonesian. We're surely going to be someone in there. The amount of players we've seen with ridiculous stats and attributes and everything, but I don't think there is going to be anyone. It's a Peruvian. We've seen a few Swiss players in there. Italians, Brazilians. There's an English player. Good. Tarima, the PSG guy, featured in 2000 and... let's go back. 2000... where are we? 2043, a couple of years ago. He was third at the age of 32. And, we've got an English player in there. But no, only one. I think we've only had 2 Indonesians featuring on this list. Maybe World Golden Ball is different. But I wouldn't have thought so. It's usually the similar players to the World Player of the Year list. Usually just in a different order. So let's have a look. I don't think the Indonesian guy even featured at all. Maybe wrong there, but that's disappointing. World Player of the Year, there's probably... Team of the Year, so there's probably players in there, but we can't see their nationality, I don't think. I don't think we can filter it. So it's a bit harder to tell unless I know the names. But still, I guess that's okay. We've got a couple of players featuring over the history of this award. I found something in the Asian Champions League we haven't actually looked at yet, and I'm hoping there's lots of Indonesian teams winning. But the Asian Champions League most valuable player, which I guess is the Player of the Year, is pretty much being won, apart from there's a guy from Benin there, mainly by Indonesians over recent years. Let's see who's won the Asian Champions League in recent years. It pretty much is... there's a lot of Middle Eastern teams, but there's quite a few... Indonesian teams in there like Persik and Arema, Persija, PSIS. If they begin with P, you're guaranteed that they're an Indonesian team pretty much. So yeah, good stuff there. At least there's lots of Indonesian teams winning the Champions League and featuring on that list. This guy plays for an Indonesian team. Top scorer in the Champions League, Ketuk Eko. So I'm going to holiday another 10 or so years, and we'll see if they can finally win a World Cup with a better manager in charge. They haven't managed to, guys. Look, Portugal won it twice in a row, 2046, 2050, and then Germany won it in 2054. They just can't win it. We've proved that they can become a world dominant force, but we haven't been able to get them to win the World Cup, despite everything. There's just maybe something holding them back. I don't know what. The manager's actually left, but he was in charge for the first World Cup. If we go back in time and have a look for how they actually got on in this competition. They won their group, actually above Brazil, Sweden and Tunisia. So they got through to the second round with him in charge. And then they lost against Belgium again. They're just really unlucky against Belgium. So that's unfortunate. And then in 2050, if we just look at the groups, I can't remember if this guy was in charge, but they finished bottom of their group, Group C. So that's annoying. And then 2054, the last World Cup, let's see how they got on. North Korea made it to that World Cup. They finished third. Really unlucky because 3 teams got 6 points. And they lost out on goal difference to Denmark and Colombia. So a second round and then 2 group stages once again for Indonesia. Really frustrating. And then actually down in 29th in the world at the moment. They have been high though. They've been 9th in the last year. But they have dropped off recently. They've got a different guy in charge now who's not particularly good. If we look at their manager history, Neguro did leave at the end of that second World Cup, where he failed basically to win. So he failed to win 2 World Cups and then left. We've had 2 managers since then. Nugroho is now at Real Madrid. Some of his attributes have dropped off a bit. It's unlikely to keep them at 20, but he is an incredible manager, and that's why he's gone to Real Madrid. Probably doing wonders there. Probably. I'm not 100% sure. Let's have a look. He's won the league this season, 2057, so that's good. So I don't know what to do. But I've thought of something because someone suggested, thank you for this suggestion, taking control of Indonesia for the last World Cup, because I don't really think I should keep continuing, because maybe by some miracle they'll win the World Cup at some point. Maybe a fluke, but they haven't got past the quarter-final stage. So someone suggested taking control of Indonesia, and I thought, let's do that. It's the 2058 World Cup coming up in a month. I could manage them, but I'm only going to do this if there's enough interest. If you don't want me to do this and you want me to move on to something else now, then that's fair enough. But if you want me to do this, if this video gets 200 likes in the next 24 hours, then I'll do a part 4, and all I would do is I would take control of Indonesia myself and play with them in the 2058 World Cup and try to win the World Cup. Maybe use a decent tactic of mine, my West Ham one maybe, or my Forest Flourish perhaps, I don't know, or something that suits the team, because obviously the team's very different now. I don't know the names. Let's have a look. They've got a young 20-year-old in the team, Asip Nasran, who looks very good. I'm sure they've got some incredible stars in this team. Most valuable player is Arif Irwanto. Wow, what a player. Plays for Leverkusen. 191 current ability. Come on, surely he could win World Player of the Year. But so if you want a part 4, hit that like button. I'm happy to do so. But I'm only going to do it if there's enough interest, basically. So let me know if you want that. If you think that sounds like a good idea, it will just be a couple of months of me playing this. There won't be many games, of course. We've got the 3 friendlies, Egypt, Argentina, Greece. So I can build up to the World Cup with those 3 games and perhaps choose my team. I don't know if it's already been chosen. It may already have been. And then I've got Chile, Turkey and Morocco in that group. So that's surely an easy route into the second round, although they may be good teams now. Chile's, of course, a good team. 10th in the world, so they're very strong. Turkey are 12th. Okay, maybe this isn't going to be as easy as I thought. And Morocco are 22nd. So we're actually the lowest ranked team going into this World Cup, Group A. So it's going to be tough. But I think, surely those teams are better than getting Brazil or Argentina, for example. So, yeah, let me know if you want that. In the meantime, we'll just have a quick look at some of the really good players and their recent fixtures, and then we'll end this part 3 here. So the best player is apparently Sopian. He's 28, only got 7 caps. Someone said, and I thought this, that the big teams like Bayern Munich are probably preventing players like Sopian from playing friendlies because they don't want them to get injured. So that's why they've got so few caps. The other reason is there's just so many damn players that it's hard to pick. But then you'd have thought maybe the top players in Indonesia would have lots of caps, and it's not always the way. So in recent years, let's go through, see if anything stands out from 2046, I guess, onwards. 2050, quite a few defeats that year. Lost against Brazil in a friendly 5-1, and that's not so good. And then in 2051, they won the Asian Cup again. Japan actually won it in 2055. Maybe that's why they've dropped off a bit. Beat Mongolia 8-0. The Southeast Asian Championship they've won again. The last... How many? Blimey, look at that. Thailand runners-up every single time for the last 10 or so years. And 2053 Confederations Cup, they made the third place playoff and they actually won it on penalties against Germany. Morocco won the last one, so perhaps Morocco are actually going to be really difficult. They've won the Confederations Cup. I'm saying this group's going to be easy, but it's not. But still, it's an interesting challenge. So Indonesia finished second twice and third twice. That's pretty good going, I guess. That's something. Despite the fact they haven't managed to do very well in the World Cup, they've done pretty well in the Confederations Cup at least. 2054 then, that's when they were unlucky not to get through that group in the World Cup. And 2055 they lost against Japan in the quarter-final of the Asian Cup. That's not so good. And then 2056 they once again won the Southeast Asian Championship. Only loss of the year was against South Korea. Then this year they lost against Iraq and Paraguay. Not so many games. And so far in 2058 they've only beaten Algeria so far. But I think that's the end of this part. If you want a part 4, let me know and I will do it. If you don't, I will move on to something else. But like I said, 200 likes in the next day and I'll do a part 4 and I'll play with Indonesia in the World Cup. Something a bit different for you. And it won't take too long for me to play. There's not many games. It's international football, so it'll be pretty easy to do. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of my other videos on my channel. It'll be much appreciated. I will see you soon.